Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Alec.
And I'm Hannah from Scrift Studios, and today we have another Newlywed Talks. And we decided to talk about living with family. And this ranges from just our experience. Your experience might be totally different.
Very different than what we were dealing with. But living with family, it's a pretty good topic. I wasn't sure what we were doing today, so that's a good one.
Yeah.
Living with family. Woo, I have a lot to say. A lot.
I'm going to start off then.
Yeah.
So, I think I just kind of want to preface this. Don't go and hate your family. Okay? And also know that we're not hating on our families either. We're just saying what we felt and what we went through our experience. And also, we lived while we were dating, and kind of before we were dating, while we were dating, while we were engaged, and the first few months of our marriage in the same exact spot. And that was the course over 2.5, 3 years. So we lived in the same space with the same people for the same amount of time.
Too much.
And
too
sometimes
much.
feelings can build up through that amount of time. And,
Thing is, especially when you're not comfortable around the people that you're at, there was issues with the person that I was living with for the longest time that we never actually got resolved, so it just ended up in an uncomfort.
So it was there were a lot of half compromises, at least on our end, that it felt like there was it was kind of solved, but we didn't feel satisfied with it, or we just kind of decided to go with the flow and not say anything, or we just would walk away sometimes.
More often than not, it was walking away because we're like, hey, yeah, nah, I'm not going to deal with this because they might kick us out for all we know, you know? I wasn't sure.
We played it really, really, really safe instead of saying, you know what, that's actually bothering me and I don't feel like this problem is worked out, which we probably shouldn't have done on our part. And in some things, it was almost like we couldn't help it, I feel like.
Pretty much.
But yeah, so.
Let me give you an example of one thing. I had a client that I would be able to film with quite a bit, actually. He was pretty cool. And he would come over to do just little sit-down kind of talk version things, right? And one day, the person that I was living with, one that owned the house, I did talk to her a lot. Sometimes I'd forget, obviously, because it was he's going to come over. And sometimes I had him inside. I literally had him inside once, and then I realized that she was not happy with that. So I'm okay.
This was during COVID.
This was during COVID, which makes sense. And I'm okay, it's fine. He doesn't need to be inside. That's cool. That's fine. Whatever. And then, so I brought him out to the carport. So I'm yeah, you can freeze your butt off, which is fine, just to make her happy. And I tried my hardest to make her as happy as possible, but she still was freaking out because I didn't tell her, soon enough that this guy would be coming over. So she had an issue with that. So she's hey, make sure you do this. And then I was pretty pissed off that day because of stuff that was happening. And then she said that on the top of it. So I snapped back and I'm well, it makes no difference because you have problems either way, right? And she freaked out over this.
This is probably the biggest fight.
Yeah, and it went on for she didn't try and help fix it, and I was ready for her to come and talk to me at any point, but she kind of sit and reveled in it for 2 weeks, which is the reason why I'm okay, if we're not going to fix it, we're not going to fix it. That's fine. I'm the one that had to, I was the one that reached out, and I tried to fix stuff, and stuff started to get a little bit better, but it kind of seemed like she was trying to make my life hell for a little while because of that, but, I'm not entirely sure what was going through her brain. But I know that drove me insane because it's okay, well, you don't like him when he's here. You don't like him when he's not here. If I tell you, if I don't tell you, it's the same reaction. And you're always going to be having that reaction no matter what I do. Even if I have him out on the front lawn, even if I don't even have him near the house. If I have him on the freaking asphalt, I'm sure you're going to act that way. So I was pretty upset. And she got pretty upset because of the way I said that. She's oh, it's called respect and everything. And I'm yeah. I've respected your space. I've respected your stuff. I've respected everything that you wanted me to respect, besides telling that he's going to come over a day before he is, because usually I didn't even know that early.
So, if you're having trouble living with family members, I think we would suggest communication and level heads.
Yeah. Level heads. Me, I don't have one, so when you stick my head to not level, it's all over the place. I am all over the place.
And I think a lot of this frustration, a lot of things built up. I think it came from a place where it was like, okay, so now I just can't talk about this, and I'm just gonna leave and do my thing and stay away so I don't have to make anybody angry and I don't have to live in a place that I don't want to be at.
That's why there was a whole lot of hibernating coming from both of us, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. When we first got married and we were living in this house for a little bit, don't get us wrong, we were super grateful for that amount of time, letting us live there for like how long that she did in that one room.
Oh yeah, no, she still was a really generous lady.
Oh yeah, she
was pretty
super
fantastic
generous.
In that sense. Like she helped pay for like food and everything, and then she gave us board as well, just to stay in the room and everything. But it was just hard to live there.
After a while, it felt like there was this constant, like, okay, so we're gonna go do this, but if we bring this up, what reaction are we gonna get? And
and it even like bled into us like trying to hide some of the stuff that we bought to bring inside so she didn't see.
We were just like not insecure, what's the word? Like,
secretive.
I guess just
sneaky.
Afraid. Like, it's like when a kid doesn't want to get in trouble, right? And so they don't talk to their parents about something because they're afraid of consequences, or they're just afraid of someone being mad at them. And I know, like, as a kid, I didn't like being yelled at or people being mad at me. I ended up being a people pleaser. So we were just kind of like, okay.
People pleaser. That's a dangerous path. Don't do that.
We'll talk about all of that in a different video. Trust me. we'll talk about this.
We'll talk about that in a different video. We'll talk about it. Yeah, we'll talk about it later. That's what she always says.
No.
Talk about it later. No. We'll figure it out later.
We're on a different topic. That's why I said that.
Yeah. That's what I would have said too.
Okay, we're talking about it after this, okay? But it got to that point where it felt like we were walking on eggshells.
Pretty much.
And I mean, it could have been just us putting ourselves on eggshells, or it could have been that where it's like, okay, does this person expect us to walk around them and make everything perfect? But either way, it was not good.
So here's also the thing, like, since I was living there for so long, I knew how this lady liked her stuff kind of taken care of and everything. And more often than not, it had to do with the kitchen is when she was the most, like, insecure about her stuff. Every other room could be piled boxes high and whatever it was, it didn't matter. But if her kitchen was messy, it was usually the thing that set her off, right? Which I understand, because I'm one that doesn't like to have extremely big, messy stuff. I like to go and I like to clean or at least keep it as little as possible. And with this, like, I made it a goal to, like, always wash a dish after I used it, always take care of whatever I do and I clean it. I wipe the counters down after I'm cooking. I wipe the oven down after I'm cooking. And I made sure that pretty much I made no imprint there at all. And then who decided to join us?
So we had more people move in to the same house. This lady's house essentially became a halfway house for our family. And of course that adds to the mess. More people means more mess, and it means more cleanup because there's more bodies doing things in a space, right? So.
And the thing is, like, both of us, I actually ended up getting her into the same routine as me, as like, you know what, we'll just make it so we have no imprint. Like, there might be less food, but after that, nothing happened. We always cleaned what we did. We even swept the floor every now and again just to make sure if there was something that we put on there, it was gone.
And I mean, we didn't take care of huge messes if they weren't ours, but it was mostly, at least for me, it was coming from a place of like, I don't know where this goes. I don't know where to put it, and I don't know how you want me to take care of it. And that's another huge thing. It was like, well, we'll at least take care of the stuff we know how to take care of.
Which was all the stuff that we used. Yep.
Mm-hmm. But so it got to a point, and this was before we were even engaged or married, where we were just, like, I was basically, essentially living at that house because I was coming over every day. And, but it got to the point where it was like, okay, can you guys help clean this? And we were like, yeah, okay.
We can help clean it because we don't mind helping clean every now and again.
Yeah, and I mean, if everybody eats dinner, then everybody can help clean, right?
Exactly.
Like,
if we didn't cook it, then, but we still ate it, we'd help out.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a problem for us. You just come and ask us nicely, and we're like, yeah, for sure. We're totally down to come and help. But more often than not, we keep ourselves clean We keep ourselves out of the way. So when these new people came in, they didn't know the rhythm that we had. They didn't know any different than let's let a pile of stuff pack it. One of them was good at it. The other one wasn't so good at it because she was really busy all the time because she had a work from home job. But, you know,
Oh, and this
that's
was
how it does.
when we were married.
This is when we were married
moved in.
when she moved in,
And so we had more people come in with their own flow.
which completely threw off everyone else's
We have
flow.
our flow, and then the lady who lives there has their flow, and so we're all trying to work together, but we're all just smacking into each other.
Exactly. It was a
Kind
whole
of a
lot
thing.
of smacking. And
And so the kitchen, it was the constant question of like, oh, can everybody please help out in the kitchen? Can everybody please help clean something in the kitchen? Can we all come together and please clean something in the kitchen? And it happened so often. And
oh
remember,
my gosh, it drove
it's
me
not-
insane.
It's not a bad thing to ask for help to clean up.
But if
Totally
it's not our mess and it's somebody else's, after we have made it a point to not make messes, it really starts to piss me off, especially when someone calls me privileged. I think that's what someone said. They're like, hey, you shouldn't be self-entitled. You shouldn't be privileged about doing
They were
stuff like
like-
this. And I'm like, excuse me? Do you really think that I'm the privileged and self-entitled one right now? Because I have literally kept myself completely out of this except for my room. Like, I haven't even made a single... I've brought all of my equipment and all my stuff down into my room to help make it out of people's way. That's how much I didn't want to be in people's way and how much in this. And then someone's like, oh, you can come and help a little bit because you're so self-entitled and everything. And I'm like, you are a jerk. You are literally right now the most annoying thing in my life.
So it just felt like it was this constant drama, and like we were being pulled into something that people felt like people thought that we weren't doing anything.
When we did the most in
When-
that stupid place.
Yeah, we felt like we were always cleaning up our messes, kind of a thing. And I mean, so yes, help other people clean, yes.
Which is fine. I don't
is
mind
fine.
going and taking a deep cleaning thing every now and again
But also
because
it's
everything, there's normal wear and tear on a lot of stuff. But like, oh, you guys have to help with the dishes. 90% of those aren't ours. If
Like
there was
we-
something, it was like a dish that we had to let soak. And then we would have came and cleaned it later.
And I think, like, this perspective, because I have a hard time feeling like making things about me or feeling selfish. It's not that, it's the fact that, okay, so I did do my part. I
know.
was here and I was cleaning, even if it was only my dish or only this big mess that I made because we were making cookies or whatever. Like, we cleaned it up, so we made sure that was clean. And now I'm waiting for other people
To clean their mess.
to do their part too.
And
kind of a
they
thing.
didn't. And then they
we're
call us
all
self-entitled.
stepping in. We should all be stepping in to clean. And I mean, you start with your stuff and then you branch into other things,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I mean, everybody makes the counter messy. And you could always say, like, oh, that's not my mess, even though you use the counter just as much as everybody else does. Clean up your dishes, clean up your mess, and then clean
And
the
then wipe
counter
it
if you have
down.
that.
Like,
if you
it's
have
not that hard.
time. Yeah. And so it was just this constant feeling of like, okay, do you think
We were the only
not
ones that
here?
actually changed ourselves for this place.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys are yelling at us because we're not helping with your messes.
Because before we got married, we had a conversation with people, and they were like, we just want you to do your part. We want to feel more support from you cleaning. And so we
So we
stepped
did.
in.
We
and we
did.
did that. And then it happened again. And we were like, why is this happening again? Why are we here again?
Well, yeah, I'm
What-
like, we
what
fixed
is
our part.
happening?
How come you guys didn't fix your part and now you're getting after us again because you didn't do your part?
So obviously, you can see there's still a lot of pent-up emotion
A lot,
from
because it still bothers
from
me.
this experience. But when you're living with family, you're gonna deal with things like that. You're gonna deal with a lot of different things because every family is different, right?
Yeah, there is also really good things about living
Mm-hmm.
with family, though. Because, like, over there, I actually had someone that I can sit... I actually really love playing, just sitting down and playing an Xbox game. Call of Duty, Zombies. I had a friend, like a brother-in-law,
Mm-hmm.
that would come and play that with me, and we had a lot of fun. And that was, like, some of the best thing for me, honestly.
We would all do fun activities together. We'd have barbecues together. Like, there were so many fun things
Exactly.
to do together.
Yeah, we're gonna flip from the angry side now. We're gonna go to the better side because not everything is bad.
No,
Like, obviously
definitely
there
not.
are things that really get to us, and there's things that like that shouldn't have happened, or things that were just stupid. That were, but there is
doesn't
good
mean-
stuff.
It doesn't mean everything was bad. There were so many good things about that place, and like we said, like the person who owned the house was super generous to let us
Super
live
nice.
there. We had so
Most of the
many
time.
fun interactions with like my brothers and sisters and things like that. Like,
Oh, yeah,
there were so many good things. We
you could
did
definitely-
plays together. Like, what the heck? There were so many things.
So
that
I'm
we
gonna
did.
put this in something. Don't take it as like offensive, but you know how Mexican family literally has everyone still living in the same place, kind of everybody just still being a
You
family.
just
You
live
even
at
like
home.
incorporate new people. That's pretty much how this family was. Like everyone was together, everyone was doing stuff with each other, and
you just
sometimes it was like
bring
extremely
people in.
overwhelming. So that's why we'd have some place to go off and go to. But more often than not, it was more of fun, and like it's pretty good because. This is like a theater group, so there's a lot of singing, there's a lot of like acting, there's some like reading scripts stuff that we used to do.
And
all
we
that
would
stuff.
read through things that people wrote. We would just go out and like we would sing through musicals. Like my family's a total theater nut bunch. Like we love it. But we would also like we'd always talk about like, okay, so who brought a stray cat this time? My family, it was
were
like
so many
tradition.
cats.
We were
So
always
many cats.
not real cats. I'm talking about people.
There were real cats.
But we had a lot of real
There were
cats.
real cats.
But we just always be bringing people in, and I think that was something really good about that. Like my family, our family is just like there was an inclusive nature, right? And so, despite the frustrating things, there were still so many good things. And I think
Oh yeah.
if you're having a hard time because you're living with family,
It's okay
You
to
should-
distance yourself for a little while. You can go somewhere else for a while, and then if it's within means, obviously, go ahead and distance yourself, and then you can come back, and I'm sure you can remake stuff because that's actually what happened with me with my family. Is I actually left when I was 17, officially just got away
you didn't
because
talk to them for like a year.
a year and a half probably,
year and a half.
and then eventually I'm like, okay, I could probably start trying to fix stuff again. So I came back in, and now we're a lot better.
Oh,
we're
yeah.
a lot better
There,
than
and
before.
even if that you distancing yourself is just you going to your room, having some quiet time for yourself for maybe like an hour or 10 minutes or whatever, and then going back out and feeling refreshed again.
Especially
Or
with like newlywed stuff, sometimes the privacy is definitely needed.
you need privacy.
As a
You
newlywed,
need-
you need privacy. I think everyone here
Privacy.
that has a couple or married in some way can agree. You need privacy.
And if you don't, I don't know
What you're
going.
doing.
I don't know how you
I
think,
don't know
but
how
you do
people
your
like
thing.
watching you or something
But,
a little awkward.
But you need privacy. And so when you don't have that privacy, I think that's what we discovered when we felt like we were still so crowded and just suffocated almost. That's when things started getting more frustrating with family members. People that we did enjoy being around and loved got frustrating being with each other. It was affecting our marriage, and we hadn't even been married for that long. So we needed a change of pace, and we needed space and air.
We didn't really find our own flow. We were working around other flows, and it was a little hard to be able to figure out something that we could do to help fix it because we weren't sure how yet. We lived in this situation for quite a long time, and it got pretty hard at that point. And now where we're at, we're still living with family, but we're having fun.
And it's a huge shift. So we're, like you said, we're living with family, but it's a totally different experience, which maybe is what you need if you're struggling with that.
And like change of pace is a huge thing, especially for newlyweds. If you need to get away, do something else. If you don't like the situation that you're in, if you're new and you're a newlywed and you don't have a super sturdy job yet, it is okay to go ahead and uproot and go somewhere else. I mean, you don't have to stay where you're at. You can easily go somewhere else, especially when you're fresh and you have $2,000. You can live. You can probably find yourself like a little place to stay and find a job within a month or something as you're going.
You can make it happen. And so that's what we encourage you to do. If you're struggling, make it happen. Make what you need to happen.
Yep. Because family is a blessing, but it can also be a curse. So keep that in mind, especially if you're trying to get married with someone and you're thinking of living with family. Make sure that you have a good amount of privacy. Because if you don't have that privacy, you will eventually start to not like that family. You'll eventually start to go insane over having to live around the people. But if you can change your situation, then change it.
And if you love those people, do something so you can continue loving them.
And sometimes it involves you can be really close by, but you still live in a different place. Because then you can come over whenever you want, but every time you need to leave, you can leave.
And sometimes you need to live 3 states away and just do video calls.
Or come over every holiday or something, it just depends on whatever fits your style the best. you and your wife's or husband's style. And I don't know, I think it's a huge thing. Living with family can be great, but you definitely need that privacy. So keep that in your mind if you're on your way there, if you're in that situation. Know that for us, it helped a lot being able to move away. We're more strong now as a married couple, I would think, hopefully.
I think so, yeah.
Maybe. Maybe.
I just agreed with you.
Kind of.
Why are you doubting me?
I don't know.
Hey.
Maybe.
No, we've definitely, just in like the 4 weeks that we've been here, there's been a hugy
There's been quite a bit of a
shift.
difference.
Huge difference.
Well, that's pretty much what we got to say about that. And we probably need to leave the video there because there's our experiences. There's kind of what we've been through. That's what we probably say to you guys. And if you have any other,
If you have insights or if you have questions or if you want more on this topic, leave a comment. Email us. Just let us know.
And if you're listening to this on a podcast, I'm sure there's a way you can get in touch with us anyway as well. But yeah, so all in all, that's it. Living with family can be a pain, but can be great, but more often can hurt your relationship than it can help right now. So
Depending on how you handle it.
depending on how you
Remember
handle
that.
it. And knowing me, I don't handle it very well.
But that's why we're here.
Yes. So once again, we're going to say this at the end of almost every video. We have other channels. Go ahead and take a look at those on YouTube. If you're listening to this on a podcast, this is on the Scribbles and Scruff channel with the actual video. And if you're actually watching this on the Scribbles and Scruff channel, then go ahead and check out Scriff Studios, which is also our other channel, which is starting to grow a little bit bigger. Not a lot, but if you guys go and help it grow a little bit, that'd be fantastic.
There's going to be a link in the description for that for sure. So you can just
we're going to have that link, so it
make
should be
it
pretty
easy for you.
easy. Maybe a link. Maybe it'll just be
Maybe
the
just-
name. You just have to type it in. I don't know. But anyways, we also
got
have...
T-shirts and merch. So it's still on Redbubble. We got that set up hopefully by this point. I'm pretty sure we have. And there's going to be multiple designs on there. Check it out. If you want to see something specifically on a t-shirt, leave a comment down below or email us. Let us know. And I'm going to designing like crazy, drawing like crazy, trying to puff out as much as I can.
Kind of.
So, hey.
She could be doing more, but she doesn't.
Hey. Cue me. I'm doing things. Probably could be doing more.
Yeah, doing
so
things
I need to draw more.
sometimes.
I'm
Sometimes it's not
trying.
drawing. She's just doing
You know
things.
what? I make thumbnails for you. You're welcome.
Yeah, she takes an hour and a half to do one
Hey,
thumbnail.
shut up. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys, and we hope you have a fantastic day.